Hey guys, today we're being joined by Cowboy Slots. He's a new YouTube channel, growing like crazy, and has lots of good information to share with the slot community. I think you should go check his channel out, but in the meantime, let's dive in.
All right.
Hey guys, we're here with Cowboy Slots live from Kemmerer, Wyoming. Did I say that right?
Almost.
Thanks for joining us. Cowboy Slots is a great new growing channel on YouTube, and we're lucky to have him here. He's a ex-slot tech and has brought some of his vast knowledge to his channel and is going to answer some questions for us here tonight. I've had a whole bunch of submissions, so we kind of had to cut down the list a little bit. So if we didn't get to your question tonight, hopefully we'll do this again some other time and kind of add to this list. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. All right, Cowboy. Skeeter from my channel asks, on multi-denominational games like Dragon Link, how does your bet level within a denomination change payouts? So I'm thinking that he might mean that the payout percentages, if you change your bet, but you don't change the denomination, like if you're playing 10 cents, it's a change if you go 5, 10, 15, and so on.
Right.
Do you have an answer for that?
Yeah. So each individual machine is programmed by the denomination. So the payout percentage is just strictly based on the denomination, not what you're betting in it. So if you're playing, say, for example, a 1 cent machine, you can bet 1 cent or you can bet $10, but you're still getting the same odds of that 1 cent. Now, if you change the denomination and go to, a 5 or 5 cent or 10 cent or so on and so forth, the payout percentages do go up as the denomination increases. And in many states, you can actually look up the actual payout percentage for each denomination, such as Nevada. Nevada provides all of those.
So is that the same rule on electronic machines versus the old school machines? So if you have like a Dragon Link versus the Triple Stars, if you change the denomination, even on the electronic games, it still gives you a higher payout at the higher denomination?
Correct. So it does not matter the age of a slot machine because they are all legally regulated and they all have to follow those same legal precedents that are set. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter if the machine is brand new from the factory or 25 years old. If it's on the floor, it has to follow those same regulations.
Okay, yeah, because I wondered this myself too about the old school machines, because you'll see some of the old school that you can actually change the denomination from dollars to $2 to $5. I'd wondered if that payout percentage actually took on the dollar payout for the entire machine or if it changes. So that's good information to know. Yeah, great question. All right, next question. Oh, I hope I say this right. Newcaffer asks, how do you personally decide which denomination machine to play?
How do you personally decide? I'm assuming they're talking about budgeting. So a rule of thumb that I always tell people is the denomination that you should look for should be 1% of your budget amount. So if you come to the casino with, say, $1,000, you should be looking for to playing $10 denomination slots. Or if you have, $100 with you, start with a $1 slot machine, and so on and so forth. It's an easy rule of thumb to kind of base on what denomination is good to play to keep you within a good within your budget that you bring with you. So that's how I decide. And I typically like to shoot for the $5 slots. So for $5 slots, I will usually budget and start with $500 in the machine, and that's typically what I do.
So would you prefer to play a $5 machine for 1 credit than a $1 machine for 3 credits?
I would, yes, because again, that denomination amount is what the legal payout ranges are based on. So if, say, for example, you have 2 machines and you have a $5 machine, and then you have a $1 machine that plays 5 credits. Well, if you're playing 5 credits on the dollar machine, you're playing $5. If you go to the $5 slot and you're playing 1 credit, you're still playing $5, but your odds are then significantly greater.
Right.
So that's why rather than playing higher amounts on lower denominations, you should shoot for, again, those higher denomination machines.
Right. Yeah. Good advice. I try to follow that. It's kind of hard sometimes, though.
And there are some games
budgeting is
out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there are some games out there that are really fun to play. I'm not opposed to playing the smaller denomination machines, especially if you're just trying to kill time or if there's a game that you really enjoy. Definitely go for it, because again, everything the casino does publish out there jackpot wise, it does have to be possible, and people do hit it.
Right.
In all denominations and spectrums. So definitely, if there's a smaller limit machine that you enjoy playing, I would definitely, if you enjoy it, play it.
Right.
Sure.
And I've seen an 88-cent bet win the grand on Dancing Drums. So, it's definitely possible.
We've seen that. We actually saw that a lot. Believe it or not, Dancing Drums and 88 Fortunes, those games, and I mentioned this in a previous video of mine, but those games actually, for being penny slots, they actually do pay out the grand a lot, and you can win the grand just by playing the lower limits. I've paid out and seen countless people that play just one, they go to the 1 cent 88 Fortunes and they play 88 cents, which is the minimum, and they will win the grand. So it's very possible, and we do see it all the time.
Very good. All right. Next question. Jonathan B asks, what are the best old school machines to play in $5 denomination? I might know the answer to this one.
Yeah.
Besides, this is a two-part question. Besides pay table changing, does a 2 or 3 coin machine change your odds if it's a $5 machine? I think what he means here is, if let's say you hit 2 credits and you hit a jackpot, would that same jackpot have hit if you would have paid, if you would have hit 3 credits, does that change the payout? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I'll start with question number, the first part of the question, the best $5 slots to play. So me personally, and again, this is just me personally, I enjoy the simpler machines, the older machines. So I try to stick with probably the best one, as you know. Triple Stars is my favorite.
Right over your shoulder right there.
Yep, right over there. My Triple Stars machine. It's definitely one of my favorites. Another couple of my favorites. I love the Triple Double Diamond Deluxe, the Red Hot Sevens, Triple Lucky Sevens, triple dollars, triple jackpot. Those machines are my personal favorite. So that's definitely to sum up the first part of the question. And as for the second part of the question, would you have hit a jackpot if you were playing max bet as opposed to playing 1 credit? Right. The answer is probably yes, because again, the machine does not distinguish between how much you're betting, how the actual amount that you're playing with, as long as you're within the same denomination. The actual amount that you're playing, the machine doesn't designate any difference between. So if you're playing 1 credit and you're playing through and you hit, triple red 7 triple, would you have hit that playing max? And the answer is yes, you would have hit that playing max, because of again, your odds aren't changing within the denomination based on the amount. Right. I encourage people all the time, you really should try to play max. Obviously, if you're going to play like $100 slot machine and the max $1,000, then yeah, you don't have to play on that. But if you're playing like a $1 machine or, a $5 machine with 2 credits, it's just well worth it to play the max, because you never know. And it would be really disappointing to play 1 credit and hit the top line and you don't get paid the full amount because you played 1 credit. So
yeah, we've seen $5 cost people $20,000 before.
Yep.
But again, play within your means. And so if you're more comfortable playing 1 credit, then by all means play 1 credit. But
$25 cost me $32.
Yeah, Greg's watching TV over there. He said $25 cost him about $37,000 one time. So yeah. So we learned the lesson that way. But again, at that point, we weren't able to be betting max, and we're very happy with what we won. So, all right, Sonia A asks, do you think, I think I know the answer here too, although I do it myself. Do you think pulling the handle versus pressing the button changes the outcome of the machine?
So it actually does not. So inside the machine, it's funny, I mentioned this in another video, and people actually laughed about it, and it became kind of a funny joke. But I said, the machine doesn't know and it doesn't care. It really the machine doesn't really care what you push. The buttons are actually, so the handle is connected to the solenoid inside the machine. And that's also the solenoid. It's the one that makes the click. So when the reels stop and you're hearing that click, you're actually hearing the solenoid click. And it's the same solenoid that runs the handle. The solenoid and everything, all of the button, the max bet button, the single credit button, they're all linked together. So it doesn't matter which one you press. It's all going to join into the same wire and go into the same place. So the machine doesn't.
1 credit, 2 credit spin, or pull my hand. It's not going to matter, right?
It doesn't matter. Yeah, you're going to get the same outcome.
Okay. Well, sometimes it makes me feel better if I switch it up.
Yeah, sometimes it's fun. It's fun to play with the handle. And just to add to that too, because I know I've heard a couple of people say, oh, well, what if the handle is broken or it sticks? Is that a sign of anything? And it's really not. So especially on the older machines, those solenoids, they burn out very quick. And a lot of times as the casino, we don't have extra parts on hand to replace those. It's just a lot easier for us to just turn off the solenoid or just go in and unplug it. So if the handle doesn't move or anything like that, it's not a sign of anything. It's probably just because we've turned off the solenoid.
Yeah. And, I know the old school machines are getting harder and harder to find in the casinos. I bet you the parts are probably getting harder and harder for the casinos. Which is
why a lot of the casinos are replacing it. So, people love old machines, and the casinos know this. And the casinos are not trying to phase out the machines because of payout reasons. They're phasing the machines out because they're just simply not making parts for them anymore. So, a lot of people tend to think, oh, they're taking out the lucky machines, or they're taking out the machines to replace them with these machines. It's really not the case. It's simply for maintenance reasons. Those parts are not available anymore. So that's why they're being phased out.
Interesting. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about that. I was thinking some of these new machines are bringing in have more bells and whistles and the progressives. And so maybe that was a way for them to lower the payout percentages. But it sounds like that's a myth.
It definitely is.
All right. Carly T, can you hear the squeaking in the background?
I can. Is that little Bailey?
That's little Bailey. She got a new lamb chop doll today, or a lamb chop stuffed animal today. So, all right. Okay, I don't know if I can say this name without laughing, but your last crap do some Vegas casinos have better slots that win more often than other Vegas casinos? And which casino do we all prefer?
So the answer to that is yes, they do. So the way the Nevada Gaming Commission has it set out, and you can actually look on a couple different places, and I'm going to reference another slot channel on here, the American Casino Guide. They actually do publish pretty clear and easy to read payouts on their website, and it will actually show you like the odds for the Las Vegas Strip, and it breaks it down by the denomination as well. And then it will also show you like the North Strip versus like Boulder City Strip versus a couple other places. So there are casinos that do have better odds over another. So how the law is actually written is there's a legal minimum, and meaning, the law says that the casino cannot go below, X amount. Now the casinos can choose to go above that as much as they want to. Okay. Which, they just can't go below it. So, if the legal minimum says, okay, for a dollar machine, you cannot go below 88%. So sometimes casinos get into like this marketing war and everything. You'll see signs that say, oh, we have the loosest slots. Well, basically what that means is, okay, most all the casinos, okay, legal minimum is 88. So some casinos will set it at like 90.125 or something like that.
Mhm.
Well, and another casino will come in and say, oh, well, we're going to put ours at 90.126, which is a fraction of a percent different.
Right.
But because they did that, now they can advertise that they have the loosest slots. So sometimes that's a marketing ploy that casinos like to do. But yes, there are in fact casinos that have better odds. And this is something that I found out recently, and I will be doing a special on this this upcoming weekend. Is the city of Wendover, which Wendover is located on the border of Nevada and Utah. And it's a common gaming destination for people in Salt Lake City because it's the closest destination to gamble in Salt Lake City. And for 3 months in 2018, on the $25 denomination, the city of Wendover actually recorded an almost 100% playback return, which was insane. No casinos ever seen it.
Do they still have those machines? Because I think Greg and I are on our way.
They have machines. They're not that as high, but they do still have those machines. So yes, casinos can set them anywhere above the legal minimum, or in Wendover's case, almost 100% for the $25 denomination slots.
Now,
As for-
they would obviously post that after they found that out, right? So
Right. They post, in the Gaming Commission, I believe they update annually. So they'll print out reports annually. The 2022 report is out for Nevada, so you can look that up. It is a little confusing because it's a long list of spreadsheets, but I've reviewed it myself to kind of look and pinpoint and see, like, you can look at even by the property. Yeah,
that'd make a great video. I'd be really interested if you broke something like that down and kind of helped us know, which ones were the best ones to get to. That'd be interesting.
As for the Las Vegas Strip, and this is something that we had talked about previously, you and I, Stacey, Caesars Entertainment Properties, they recently sold to a company called El Dorado, and they have not been doing very well gaming wise.
Yeah.
I personally have not had any really good luck at Caesars Properties, and also just general observation, have not seen many people winning at Caesars Properties recently. However, MGM Properties, like as you know, Aria is a big favorite of Stacey, and also Bellagio. I have always had excellent luck at Bellagio. Every single time I have played $5 slots at Bellagio, I have hit a jackpot. Every time. There's actually not one time that I have not hit a jackpot at Bellagio. So that's kind of crazy.
That's a good streak.
That's kind of my go-to is Bellagio personally.
Yeah, we like Bellagio. Of course, we like Aria. Caesars used to be one of our favorites. But it's hasn't been treating us as nicely nowadays. So
it's really gone downhill a lot with their customer service too, which I'm really big on customer service.
Yeah.
And when I go into a place, I'm sorry, but if your staff is rude, I want nothing to do with you.
I mean, that's true, because you're on vacation, you want to have a good time. So
yeah, people are there to have a good time. And whether it's check-in or even this even 7-star services, I've found that recently their staff is just very rude. So I'm like, you know what, I want nothing to do with you guys anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame because they have some really neat properties in Las Vegas. So it's just a shame that hopefully they'll fix that. I would think they have
hopefully they'll get their act together.
Yeah.
So if you work for an El Dorado property now, formerly known as Caesars, then you can take this video to your management and tell them they need to straighten it out.
Tell them we used to love them, but
I know you're losing your 7 stars people. You're losing your high limit people.
Yeah. All right. Which casino do we prefer? I guess we answer that with Bellagio. Ari, is there a casino you like down on Fremont Street, or have you been down there very much?
I really haven't gotten into Fremont Street much.
Yeah,
I've been down there a few times. The last time I was there, I went to the D, which the cool thing about the D is if you go to the upstairs level, they actually have coin machines.
Yes.
So if you enjoy playing, getting the buckets of quarters and playing slots, then check out the D on Fremont Street, because they actually do have them, which is kind of cool. It's kind of nostalgic.
Not
You
very
know?
many, not very many left, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's really not many left. I'm glad they did that.
Yeah, me too. All right, Matt W asks, if I'm playing a machine and I hit something, we actually answered this question a few questions back in our conversation. He's asking if I hit something on a single credit bet with that same combination of still hit had I been playing max.
Yes.
So we answered that. The answer would be yes. So
Short answer is yes.
that's right. Thanks, Matt. Lady D, she asked, do you know anything about VGTs, which are kind of my neck of the woods, the tribal machines. And I know you put a video out a few weeks ago about I think it's called Bingo.
Yep. All
Bingo
about
slots, right? And I'll put a card for it right up here.
Right.
So you can go watch that. So you can get maybe a brief explanation about what you know, and then we'll send people to that video later.
Yep. So, the funny thing about VGTs, so I got to tell you this. So the class 2 facility that I worked at, I was part of the opening team. So I was actually in there setting up the machines originally before it was open to the public. And that was my first encounter with the VGT, like the red screen and the money bags and so on. Mm-hmm. That was my first encounter with it. And when I was setting it up and I was opening it, like from an inside perspective, I was like, this is the dumbest machine I've ever worked on in my life. It was the worst machine to actually like go through and set up. And I was like, but you open it and it's overly basic. And, I hate to say it, but from the inside standpoint, I'm like, this looks like a cheap piece of crap. Like it really does. Like,
I think it'd be more complicated inside there.
It's really not. It's really not, but it's very different. That's for sure. But the VGTs are most commonly found in tribal bingo class settings. So the class 2 machines, they're more commonly found there. From my neck of the woods, and that was the only encounter I ever had, was just setting up that one bank of those red screen VGTs. And from a worker standpoint, I didn't like it. I thought they were total crap. But I personally have not played them, but I know I've seen people play them, and people do have good luck at them. That's for sure. We have
a lot of fun playing them. It kind of adds, sometimes when we've been playing VGTs a lot at WinStar, and then we go to Las Vegas and we go back to the 3-reel, it's like you're waiting for that red screen, and you kind of have to get back to just the routine of watching the reels. And so we enjoy playing them. And your video about the bingo patterns and how they work, that really kind of helped me understand too. So let's see, Lady D, if you're here watching, go check out his other video, and that'll give you a real good idea about how those work. Yeah,
check out that video. I do have a whole entire video on how class 2 gaming works, the bingo machines, how they work. So those VGT machines, if you want, check out my video on bingo slots, because it will describe exactly how they work. And they do operate very differently from a traditional class 3 machine.
Perfect. All right, next question. Bonnie Y asks, on some old school slots, if you look, now I haven't noticed this, so you may be able to look in your machines right there behind you. In some old school slots, if you look between the glass and the wheel on the right side, it has a coin in, coin out counter. Is it better to play the one where the coin counter is higher? Sorry, the coin in counter is higher than the coin out counter. Do you know what?
Most of the machines you can't see that. Typically speaking, it depends on where it's at. Some machines, the counters are hidden inside. Some actually will have like a little plexiglass window towards the back corner of the machine, but very rarely can you actually see those counters. I'm not exactly sure what machine she's looking at, but it sounds like it's a much older model, because even models from the 90s, they stopped making those counters easily visible through the glass. And really, that has no merit. So those counters are actually mechanical, kind of like in an old vehicle. The
odometer.
They're more mechanical. So even if the machine gets reset, sometimes those counters, the actual numbers don't reset on them. So really, it doesn't matter. I wouldn't base my play off of what that counter says if you can read it, but most people will never be able to.
So I should like go to all my old school machines before I play it and try to see down the glass.
I don't even know if you can see any of the, let me pop one open here and see what.
Here we go. We're going to see Cowboy Slots in action.
Let's see what we got here. Let's see. So my counters are actually, which you can't even see. I'll take this base plate off. So the counters are actually right here under the bottom of
Okay.
the money box. And you can see if I don't know if you can see this or not. Can you see what I'm pointing to?
I can. Opening.
Yeah, that little plexiglass window is where you can actually see the meters. But here's the meters right here. So it's like the jackpot meters up in the top, in, out, drop, games played, and canceled credits. But so that's typically not something that most people can see.
So I'd have to fit my head between the two machines.
Yeah, between the two machines. So it really doesn't matter when it comes to that.
Okay. So the coin in, coin out doesn't really have anything to do with whether or not there's been more money taken in, less money paid out. It's really just an internal.
It's part of the accounting system, but I wouldn't base my play on it.
Very good. All right. Dane's in Texas. It's actually my brother-in-law.
All right.
Which type and denomination would be the best one to try if I have a $100 bankroll? Would it be pennies or dollars?
Honestly, I would start with dollars, but just know that with a $100 bankroll, it is relatively small. So you don't have to go from the extreme of, either pennies or dollars. You can do a 50-cent or 25-cent machine. You can do something like that. So there's some machines that you can actually, that are, for example, it's a 50-cent machine with 2 credit max. So you can play $1 at max, and there are still some good machines out there like that. So I would do no more than $1 denomination with a $100 bankroll. I would stick to 50-cent, 25-cent, or the penny machines.
All right. Well, I have a special guest who has a follow-up question to that one that he'd like to ask.
Hello, Cowboy Slots.
Greg?
I just want to know if I gave Danes in Texas bad advice because I told him to take the $100 bill and put it in a $100 machine and do one spin.
Well, hey, I mean, if it hits on that one spin, $100. So pretty much on a $100 machine, anything's a jackpot. You know,
that was my advice to him. So people probably shouldn't ask me for advice on that.
That's no different than the people that go up to the roulette table and they have a black $100 chip and they're like, "Oh, put it on red or black. Either you win or you lose."
Yeah.
All right. At least there you have a 50-50 chance, though. 50-50 chance on that one. Check out Danes in Texas if you guys don't mind too. He's got a. All right. Hey, Helen. She's a frequent commenter on my channel. So hi, Helen. Thanks for asking a question. Have you ever seen a casino turn off a machine because someone is winning too much on it?
Never. I've been in the gaming industry for years, and I will say so. Again, it's all perspective. When people go into the casino, I don't know what it is, and I think it's because the way the casino industry was originally, shrouded in mystery, and then all the James Bond movies and all these, like Ocean's 11 movies came out. Guys, the casino today is not like that at all. It's pretty boring. On the inside, there's nothing special. There's not a secret team of people that are out to get you. So
they're not sitting in a room upstairs trying to find out which machine I'm winning on, and
they are not.
Get off.
That is just simply not true. Have I ever seen it? No. The only times that I've seen machines been taken down, or that me personally have gotten the orders to, hey, can you take this machine down? We have to document why. So even if my superiors come to me and say, hey, go shut off this machine on this bank, they have to tell me why, because I have to document it. So even going through all the workers, I still have to report through the chain of command and even to the gaming commission themselves. If I touch that machine, I have to put my card in and I have to open it up and I have to put my name on the logbook and I have to say the reason why I'm opening the machine. And it cannot be just a vague reason. I can't just say, oh, manager told me to open it. There has to be a reason why. And usually those reasons are fairly simple. The machine might need worked on. It might need a battery replaced. Paper might be out, something like that. It's usually simple. Do we turn them off because people are winning too much? No, absolutely not.
The same in tribal casinos. They work the same way.
Yes and no. So the tribal casinos, yes, we do still have to go through the floor and we have to, maintain the machines and work on the machines. The only difference is there are a lot of class 2 facilities that are server-based games. So we actually do have an IT department. And, if, for example, the odds were, to be changed on the server, they can do that remotely. But that wouldn't be something that we would do on the floor. And even that, when it comes to, because everybody seems to be confused on, oh, the casino can just up and change their odds. Can they do it? Yes, but they have to get permission, and there has to be several steps and several people there in order to make that happen. So it's not anything that they can just, on the fly, I'm going to do this. No, they have to have a commissioner's approval to be able to do that.
So kind of backtracking to one of the questions you answered a little while ago, if they're having a kind of a battle between two casinos and one wants to up their payout percentage to get above the other one, do they still have to go through the approval, even if they're increasing the payouts?
So here's the funny thing about it. So if the casino is increasing their payouts, that's pretty much, they really don't need approval to increase it, but anytime that they're decreasing it, they have to answer as to why. Gotcha. So and then it has to be verified that they're not going below that legal minimum that's been set.
So if they increase it and then want to come back down, that's when they're going to have to get permission.
Correct.
Interesting.
And sometimes it's quick. I mean, sometimes they can do it in the same day, but there has to be a chain of command that they go through before they do that.
Great. We're going to take a little break from the questions and talk about your channel for a minute.
All right.
Cowboy Slots you came in February, right? Been less than 2 months?
End of February. Yeah, I published my first video end of February.
Okay, we're approaching 20,000 subscribers. So if you guys haven't subscribed, please hop over there when you're done watching the video and subscribe to his channel. I want you to model your shirt. He started some merchandise.
I do have my new shirts out. Cowboy Slot, really cool design.
Yep.
They come in all
jackpot. Yeah, rope the jackpot. That's a cool saying. I really like that. He's also started a Patreon. So once you go subscribe, you can check out his Patreon. He has a couple different levels of membership there.
Cool colors of shirts here. I've got women's shirts, I've got men's shirts, and I've got a whole bunch of good stuff, guys. And I even have, which these are kind of cool. I really like these. I have these little bags here that are these little canvas bags. So if you go to the casino and you end up winning a jackpot, you got something to put your money in.
You need a lock on that so I can win it and then lock it in.
There's a little lock there. You can attach it.
There you go. Cool. Very nice. Are you going to be taking any of those you going to take anything to Wendover with you this weekend?
I am actually. I'm going to be bringing a couple things to Wendover with me, so that'll be good. Showing off some stuff. I have a couple hoodies that I'm going to be bringing and some hats as well. So,
so if anybody's near Wendover, you'll be there Friday and Saturday.
I will be there on Saturday. Saturday and Sunday, I will be in Wendover. Yes.
Let's see. I should know the dates of those. Is April 4th? No.
April 2nd, I believe.
Just since
April 2nd and 3rd.
April 2nd and 3rd, 2022. So in case anybody's watching this next week, you may have missed him. But anyway, check out his channel, merchandise. He's become a really good friend, and I love your channel. You're doing a great job, so keep it up.
Thank you.
All right, back to our last few questions. Bare Feet 200 asks, are online slot machines paid out the same way as a casino ones, meaning are they regulated? He says he can hardly break even at casinos and doesn't seem to win at online games either. So he's having trouble when he watches videos online thinking that people actually win.
So here's the problem with online gaming. I have gotten a lot of questions on it. And I got so many questions on it that I personally went out and tested a couple of online casinos for myself.
Oh, wow.
I signed up for probably 3 or 4 different of these online casinos that people play at. And I actually spent several hours going through reading their terms of service, their terms and conditions. I actually called them and said, how long does it take to get a payout back or anything like that? And what I found is most of these online casinos, they actually are based and they have their servers in places like India, in places like, overseas, different countries, stuff like that. Guys, be careful putting your money on the internet. Even if it looks like something that is legit, be careful about that. There's a lot of these online casinos, like I had one and I was talking to, and they're like, oh, well, you can send us Bitcoin. Hey guys, come on. And then I asked them about their payout and they're like, oh, well, you can get it. And, we can wire transfer it to you within, 7 to 14 business days and stuff. That's not fun to me. But as for the payouts and stuff like that, be very careful and be very cautious, because a lot of these online casinos, they have no regulation because they're based in several servers all across the world, that they don't have to follow that. There are some legit ones. I will say that they're not all bad. There are some legit ones, but try to find those online casinos that have servers based in places like Nevada, because if they're based in Nevada, they have to follow the same compact. And there is laws written into the Gaming Commission of Nevada for online slots and for online gaming. So just be cautious about these websites that you're playing on, guys, because a lot of them are very, very shady. And I would be very careful about that. So I always urge people, just use caution, especially if you're going to be putting your money out there on the internet. Just be cautious.
Right. Now, I think MGM and some of the other casinos allow you to play online when you're in Las Vegas. Have you seen any of those?
They do. Actually, I know Caesar's Property has one. It's more for sports betting, but those are relatively quick and those are secure. So definitely, go through like the Caesar's app or the MGM app, something that go through that. But be leery of some of these. It's like, all these crazy casino names, and then you look and you see they're based in, India or Italy or someplace like that. Just be cautious about that, because you got to think a lot of, just like there's a lot of websites out there that the servers cannot be based in the United States because of, laws that prohibit that. And a lot of these laws are written to protect people. And so you look at, okay, well, why are you having to move your servers overseas if you can't have them? So that's something that I would question. I would question that, because those guys, those casinos guys, they do not have any regulations to follow. So they can sit there and
yeah, I know there's a lot of people playing them right now, and I've wondered that myself. So thanks for looking into that. That'd be a good video later too. I think
I plan on doing a video on that. And there was actually one company that they actually had reached out to me directly, and they actually asked me, they said, hey, can you do a review on our online casino? And I told them, I said, I would be happy to do that, but first I need to test it for myself. And they're like, oh, okay. So I signed up as a normal player and I played on it for a little bit. And then I said, I'm also going to need to ask you guys some questions. And they're like, oh yeah, not a problem. And I said, okay, where are you based out of and how are you regulated? They went dead silent. So guys,
I guess that's a clue, right?
Look, and that's another thing. I'm never, ever in my life, I do not endorse anything that I don't personally use. So I have had companies and apps and all these other people come to me and say, hey, talk about our product. And I won't do it. I will not do it if I don't use that product or if I don't feel that it's fair or, following, proper guidelines or anything like that. Now, if you're fair, I'll be more than happy to do a review. But in this case, no, it was not a good deal.
Well, yeah, that's really interesting stuff. Yeah, I think the online casinos, I see so many people playing them right now. And I've wondered before, boy, there's a lot of money in some of these machines. When, when you're seeing the number in the corner, I'm like, that's real money out there. I wonder if it's
it's real. It's real money. And unfortunately, guys, there's a lot of these websites out there that, they can get hacked very, very easily, or they have some kind of credit card skimming or something.
Yeah, I didn't think about hacking, or I was thinking more just about theft, but
online casinos are the quickest way to send your money to Nigeria. It really is.
Yeah, to my uncle.
Yeah. Your rich uncle in Nigeria.
That's right.
Your Nigerian friends. That's the quickest way to lose your money, guys. Don't do it.
All right, here's the next one. Roger M. He asked, have you ever cashed a voucher out of a machine, sat a minute, and then put it back in and won a jackpot? Or have you tried that system?
No, not really. So again, the machine actually, when you put money in, it reads vouchers and cash the exact same way. And when you're actually feeding it in, it'll add it to the credit window, but the machine actually does not register that into the accounting record. It only registers when you hit the spend button. So you can put $1 in the machine, or you can put $100 in the machine. It will not record it into the accounting record until you've actually spent it, because it doesn't consider it money in until it's actually been spent. So no, it doesn't have any effect on.
So it doesn't know whether or not you have a $5 voucher in or a $100 bill until you hit that button. It's going to be, that's how it registers.
It'll register it on the machine as credits.
Right.
It'll give you credits, but it's no different than, if you go to a vending machine and you put $5 in, it's just going to sit there and think until you actually push the button, and then the soda pops out. So
I hadn't thought about it that way.
It doesn't care how much money you put into it. It all goes based off of the cycle of when you're actually pushing the button, and then it records it.
Very good. Okay, James O asks, is it always good to play with the player's card?
Yes.
I've had some people think that it affects their, it's like, then they'll know I'm winning. And, but we always try to play with the player's card too.
Right. So the thing is, and I've mentioned this before. So the system that the player's card goes into is called the player tracking system. First off, the two systems are not connected in any way. So it's not connected to the actual computer, that like the gameplay of the machine. It's connected in the aspect for it to be able to read the accounting records and so on and so forth, but it's not connected to the aspect of actually the gameplay itself. Also, two-part to that, it's highly illegal for it to be connected. So the two are completely separate, and they have no effect. Whether your card is in or not has nothing to do with the gameplay of the machine. And actually, you're losing out on some really good benefits of a lot of these casinos if you're not playing with your card. Why wouldn't you want to get something back? And if you think of it this way, if you're playing with your player's card, and the casino is saying, they want to track, how much money you're spending. They want to do that for two reasons. Number one, to get you your benefits and to determine your tier level and how much benefits to give you. But also, it makes it really easy for tax season, because all of that is recorded. At the end of the year, you can go to any casino and you can request your win-loss statement. And a lot of people don't know this when it comes to taxes. And again, I have to say, I am not a tax expert, so I cannot give any kind of legal tax advice. But you can actually deduct your losses on your taxes as well. So that's a really, really important report to have. Does it affect the gameplay of the machine? Absolutely not, and you shouldn't be worried about that. So earn those benefits, get those perks. Always play with the card, for sure.
Very good. Let's see. We've kind of touched on this a little bit, but Robert W. asks, if I bet $1 on a penny machine versus $10 on a penny machine, are the odds of payback different?
So no. The odds of payback are still at a penny. So that's why I say, a lot of people, and this is where the casinos are making more money today, because and again, I've mentioned this in one of my videos too, the casino is going to have the most of what makes them the most money. So when you walk into a casino, you see just a ton of penny machines. They're everywhere. There's all these penny machines everywhere. And it's because people have it in their mind, again, it's mentality. They see a penny and they're like, oh, it's just a penny. But they don't realize that they're playing $10 and they're not getting any better odds because those legal odds are determined by that one penny still. So, no, I would not spend $10 on a penny machine ever. If you're going to spend $10, go play a $5 machine at 2 credits or a $10 machine at 1 credit. Do something like that. Your odds are exponentially greater. If you look at most of the odds for Nevada, penny machines tend to be in the high 80s, so 88, 89%, whereas a $10 machine can be upwards of 97, 98%. So it's a whole 10% different. So that's why I say if you're going to play a penny machine, play it pennies, like 88 cents for 88 fortunes.
Play it for fun because it's a fun game and you enjoy the game. All right, I have one last question for you, and it kind of ties into some of this penny slot questions. Steve in Florida asks, when you play any of those games with the pots that you're trying to fill the pot with coins, is that pot just a visual as it fills, or is that any indication, so should you sit down at a machine where the pot's a little bit more full, or is it just completely random?
So it is completely random. The pot is really more just for visual because it can technically close at any time. I will say this, on the machines that do have the pot does tend to close more if you're playing the higher bets. So for example, if you're playing a 1 cent dancing drums machine and you're playing the minimum of 88 cents, it's going to be a while before that pot actually closes. But if you're playing, again, the 1 cent and you're playing, $8.88, which I believe is the max on dancing drums, the pot will close more frequently. But your odds are still the same. It can close at any time, whether it's full or empty.
I've played a lot at 880 and I've gone a long time without having that pot close. So yeah. I know it's again, totally random, but it's one of those, I think the slot companies know a lot about our psyches, and especially some of the machines. I know there's a new goldfish machine coming out, the Food Eye Land, I think, with the 3 bags. Yep. Where you fill up the 3 bags and they look like they're about to burst. And so you're like, I can't leave this machine because I know those bags are going to open. Yep. But you back up and you think it's completely random. They could also.
And this is another thing that most people don't realize. So these slot machine manufacturers out there, they actually do have teams of people that just specialize in psychology. They actually have psychological experts that work with these games, and they know everything. Visual cues and the bells and the sounds and all of that. And they work with these psychologists directly to find out what attracts people. And it actually goes into a report that the casinos use, which they base on their metrics, which is player holdability. So if you actually get into the casino world and you start talking to a lot of casino executives or anything like that, they'll say that player holdability is one of their key metrics that they focus on. And basically, in short term, it's called butts in the seat. How long can we keep the butt in the seat for? And so that's why these psychologists are actually out there designing these games, and they want to make them flashy and fun and entertaining, and all these things like the pot.
Yeah, all the bells and whistles.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, even the old school machines. If you look at the new. Like the new 5 times and the new triple diamonds and double diamonds coming out with the progressive, and now the bells and the loud noise, where it's the old school machines. But I'm afraid we're not going to see very many of those true 3 real simple old school machines that much longer, I'm afraid.
So one thing about those, so the older machines, so again, these style machines right here, that is the IGT model S2000. And it actually got replaced with the model S3000, which was released several years ago, which they actually brought back the mechanical reels, but gave it more of a digital feel. I know you've played a couple, you've seen new pinball, and they're basically taking these games and they're reinventing them and reimagining them into more newer style bodies. So they are kind of resurrecting the old machines a little bit. I hope they do that with a lot more games. I'd like to see old school Tabasco come back, old school cars, stuff like that. And fun fact, I was actually at the G2E, the Global Gaming Expo, when the S3000 was launched. So I was actually there, and I actually went to the IGT booth, and I was there when they launched the S3000. It was really cool. Some of those machines, they have some really awesome features.
So those machines, are they going to experience the same types of payouts as the true old school machines?
They will, and essentially, yes.
Yeah. Well, let's see. That's my last question for you. I kind of had to skim it down so I didn't keep you here for, 2 or 3 hours, but
That's all right.
Do you have any last minute advice for us before we sign off for the evening?
Really, just play responsibly. Definitely play responsibly. Keep to your budget. Know when you go into the casino, again, it's very psychological that the casino will do for you. You can, if you have good knowledge of the workings of the casino, check out some of my videos. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not here to sell stuff. I don't sell any programs or anything like that. But I do offer some tips that are just based from the programming side. And by knowing those, you can kind of better your slot play. And of course, always watch Stacey's slots because Stacey plays the best machine.
I appreciate that. And I appreciate you taking the time to answer some of my viewers' questions. And guys, go check out Cowboy Slots. It's a great channel, lots of good information, and have fun in Wendover.
Will do.
Okay, take care.
Take care. Thanks for having me.